Man, two regions people want to know about, but not to go there for sure. Balkans and Eastern Europe. Both come from the same background, well, similar. Both have highs and lows Both have similar traditions, and it's kinda not fair that we don't know who's better. So let's find out. Of course, none of these regions is known as rich or developed, and it all kinda has the same roots. But Balkans have a huge advantage to profit off, you know what I mean? Of course, seas, which, if everything is done right, means tourists, which means money. And a lot of Balkan countries use this feature, and nonetheless, some even made it their primary source of income, because there is not a lot of other things to profit off in that region. Companies then often open their businesses there. Agriculture, well, only some parts of that region got lucky with their grounds. Industry, yeah, some countries do that, and mostly in terms of cars and machines. And some other stuff like that, But what those that do none of this stuff live off, you may ask? Some go into manufacturing, some get most of its GDP from remittances. Can you imagine how strong your economy has to be so the biggest source of income is the money people send each other? But what's up with Eastern Europe? And damn man, it freaking varies. You have IT giants, financial monsters, and countries which, just like in the good old days, farm. I mean literally. Eastern Europe is really different in this case. Dude, there you have Ukraine that busts its ass off in war and at the same time produces agriculture for a good amount of Europe. And slightly northern, you have a freaking new Japan, the country of future. Estonia, which in recent years just blew up with its tech center, IT and startups. You can check out my video and find out all about it. Regardless, here you also can find country which slowly becomes the center for world-class companies to settle in, and at the same time and in the same region you have countries like Moldova, and when you see remittances you know it's just different. Yeah, it's a very dramatic comparison because there are countries like Slovakia which is just in the middle. It's not some innovator, nothing like that. It just makes its cars, well, kinda it's. And comparing Eastern Europe to Balkans in this kind of economic era, yeah, if we take everything in general, Balkans are surely poorer. Part of it is because not so much of its countries got into European Union. Union surely can help a country get up, not as high as heaven, but come on, just look at mentioned Poland to Estonia. You think they really just glowed up because of good historical conditions and large economics at start? Nah man, those were broke and broken countries. But with some help and support from European Union, they got up on their feet. That's all the Union did pretty much. It didn't give Estonia its innovations, nah, it helped financially get it out of the ass it's been in after communism. And everything after that, Estonia and Estonians have done by themselves. But what was this talk leading to? No, not to nothing unexpectedly. What I'm saying is that a bigger portion of Eastern European countries got help from European Union and managed to get out of their dark past. While in Balkans, some countries, yeah, they got help. Some got lucky with displacement, and some... yeah. And that's why Balkans are generally poorer. Of course it has large touristic places, but tourism, it just can't make as much money. And damn man, although both regions came from the same communistic background, the things that happened or didn't happen to them impacted the situation today. Could have Balkans gotten richer? Surely if the corruption wasn't a national tradition there. Could have Eastern Europe gotten richer? Surely if the corruption wasn't a national tradition there. But there's so much more to it than just money. Come on, those two have been through a lot. And it surely reflects in their cultures, which are, well, different. Dude, even by looking at Balkan people and Eastern European people, you can tell that something is surely not the same. And you'll be right, my friend, it's simple. What have you heard about Eastern European people? Cold, harsh, everything like that. And I, as an Eastern European representative here, can assure you that it's not really far from the truth. Really, lots and more so probably most of Eastern Europeans either try to seem or just seem tough and serious. Like really, it's considered weird to show emotions or your real self or any kind of realness in Eastern Europe. For me, I think it's stupid and funny that people just hold their emotions to seem serious. And exactly just to seem, because the more you get to know a person, the more that serious mask drops off. That person that's always tough and serious starts to show you emotions and kinda the real self. But the moment other people appear again, the same serious mess gets on. Yeah, that's probably what people mean when they say cold on the outside, warm on the inside. But in Eastern Europe, you can apply that phrase to almost everyone, and it's not social anxiety. I don't really think so. Because people are not awkward in public with other human beings. They just try to seem serious. Right, maybe it is some form of mass social anxiety, and seriousness is kind of a self-defense mechanism. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but what I do know is that you surely don't see people being so cold in Balkans. Man, if you just came there and you're not someone's brother yet, I don't know what you've done wrong. Dude, Balkans, they seem as talkative and as emotionally expressive as it possibly can be. You'll sit next to a guy on a bus and you'll know his entire bloodline despite him being only 4 years old. That's how sociable Balkans are. And it's not just about talking to strangers or communicating in public. Dude, even if you come to someone's home, you'll be treated like a king. And to be fair, it's kind of the same way in Eastern Europe. If guests are about to come, we need to clean up everything and cook just enough food to fill the entire kitchen with it. But the difference is that to get into someone's home in Eastern Europe, you need to be really close to the host, like a long-time friend or a best friend or parent, for example. If you're just a mate or something on that level, of course we can meet, but let's do it on some neutral territory, in a coffee shop or restaurant or whatever. When in Balkans, it seems like people will firstly invite you to their house, then ask you your name, and if you don't want to come to their house, they'll invite you again, and if it's still a no, they'll invite you again and again, and if it will be a no even then, they'll invite you again to them, and if you still won't be comfortable to go, then they will suggest to go to a cafe or whatever. And just generally, Balkans seem way more expressive, loud, hug, touch, dance, laugh, that's all about them. But in Eastern Europe, it surely also happens if people are drunk.